This week on the CNET Tech Review, iMovie lets you edit videos right on your iPhone 4. Real Director lets you do it even better. The Acura TL gets a tech makeover. And we count down the hottest cell phones that are slowly cooking your brain. It's all coming up right now. Hey everyone, I'm Molly Wood and welcome to the CNET Tech Review, the show where we round up the hottest videos of the week, tell you which ones are good, which are bad, and offer some tech wisdom in the form of the bottom line. Let's start with the good. When Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone 4 last month, he got a huge reaction when he announced that iMovie would be available for use right on the phone. So what's it like making movies on your iPhone? Here's Ariel Nunez to show you how it works.
It's a new age, my friends. TV's on the internet, music is on your iPod, and now you can make mini movies using this. I'm Ariel Nunez for CNET.com, and I'm going to show you how to produce mini masterpieces on your new iPhone 4. Now, first you want to go into the iTunes store and purchase iMovie for iPhone. It's $4.99, but worth buying if you ever wanted to dabble with video editing, but not quite ready to drop the big bucks on a desktop video editing program. Now, when you first open the app, it'll ask you to choose a theme. There are 5 generic themes you'll have to choose from. Now, after choosing a theme, you can start dragging photos and movies that are recorded on your phone, or you can record them directly from the app. You can trim down clips to your desired length by tapping on the clip in the timeline and dragging the yellow lines. By default, iMovie places dissolves between each clip that you drop into the timeline. If you want to alter these, tap on the transition icon. Now you don't get too many choices here. You're pretty much limited to using the standard cross dissolves or the transitions that come with the theme you chose. And finally, we're ready to add music. Now iMovie lets you choose tracks from your music library stored on your iPhone. By tapping on the audio tab, you can sort through your music and drop them right into the timeline. And it'll show up underneath your video clips as a green bar. Now note that you can only choose one song per project, so choose your song wisely. And now that we're done, we can export our masterpiece. iMovie gives you 3 options to export your movie: medium, large, and HD. Choose a setting and your movie will be exported directly to your iPhone's camera roll. Now iMovie gives you the option to upload directly to YouTube or to MobileMe, but the quality will be less than 720p. If you want to upload the full resolution, you'll have to transfer your video to a computer first. And yes, a masterpiece is born. Now, there are other options for making movies on your iPhone, but if you want a simple, bare-bones app that's easy to use and easy to learn, you might want to start with this one first. I'm Ariel Nunez for CNET.com with your how-to for making masterpieces on your iPhone 4.
So yeah, iMovie looks pretty fun for editing quick clips while you're on the go, but unless they come up with some more themes, everyone's iPhone movies are going to end up looking pretty much the same. Luckily, iMovie isn't the only phone-based editing program in the App Store. Here's Brian Tong with his look at Real Director.
Let's do the twist. Welcome to Tap That App, guys. I am Brian Tong, and this is the show where we cover the hottest apps in the mobile space. Now, we've all heard about the iPhone 4's iMovie app for editing movies, but I've got one for you that takes it up a notch with its feature set. It's called Real Director. It's $4.99, the same price as iMovie, and it runs best on the iPhone 4 and 3GS, but you can also use it on the iPad, iPod Touch, and iPhone 3G, but its features are a little more limited there. The learning curve on this app is higher than iMovie, but for most people willing to try this out, it's definitely worth it. Now, you'll have your standard timeline and the ability to add videos or still pictures. One thing that really stands out right away is that trimming your clips in this app is a lot smoother and more specific compared to iMovie. And you can also split a clip into 2 separate parts in Real Director as well. Now, your eye candy options blow iMovie out of the water. You're getting 28 different transitions to use between clips, and there are 8 different title styles that can be positioned in 9 different locations. You can also create still images from a frame in your video, and you won't find that in iMovie. And anyone who wants to do some real sound editing, Real Director allows you to control the volume levels For specific clips in iMovie, it's either on or off. Now, obviously, there are a few drawbacks. The interface is a lot more complicated. If you want to see your whole movie in its entirety, you'll have to wait and render out the whole project, where iMovie lets you watch your project at any time. And the biggest bugaboo, you do not have access to your iPod music files, so you can either use the phone's mic to record audio, or you have to add music wirelessly by connecting to your computer over Wi-Fi and importing them, and that might be a deal breaker for you. Now, overall, if you want the most extensive video editing app on a mobile phone, Real Director is the app that you'll want to tap. Now, it's $4.99. We love all of its eye candy and editing features, but it really needs to resolve its clunky music import feature. That's going to do it for this week's show. If you have any suggestions, send them to tapthatapp@cnet.com. I'm Brian Tong, and we'll see you next week. Come on, baby!
Sure, Real Director has a lot of features, but if you can't directly access your iTunes music, I still think iMovie has the advantage. Either way, it'll probably be a while before any of our producers give up on Final Cut Pro on their Macs. Now, if you're more interested in sitting back and watching movies than in creating them, that's okay too. After months of speculation, paid subscriptions have come to Hulu, and now Hulu Plus has come to your handhelds.
Ever since Hulu first started streaming TV shows on the web, mobile phone owners have been wanting a version of their own. Well, here it is. I'm Jessica Dalcourt with CNET, and here's your first look at Hulu Plus 1.0 for iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. Hulu Plus organizes Hulu's vast content catalog into several categories. Because of its larger screen size, Hulu Plus on the iPad is pretty easy to navigate around among TV shows, movies, and your queue. You can also search for specific titles or browse by what's featured, popular, or recently added. We're less enamored of the iPhone app's more cluttered layout. Although the small screen size doesn't help, getting around the app could be easier. You can still search and sort by popular and featured content plus TV shows, but other content is harder to get to. Movies in your queue, for example, are hidden in the More screen, and from there you can search movies by title or genre. As far as video quality goes, it was excellent when streaming over strong Wi-Fi and 3G signal, but weak signal caused all sorts of pixelation, hiccups, and occasional crashing. Luckily, videos resumed in almost the same place each time they cut out, though the app really could benefit from the ability to download shows while signal is strong for later viewing when signal is weak, particularly for monthly subscribers. The Hulu Plus app itself is free, and there is a corpus of new TV shows you can also watch without charge, the same as you would do from your desktop or laptop computer. However, most of the content does require a Hulu Plus subscription, which costs $10 a month. While it's reasonable to charge customers for premium content like movies, the fact that Hulu is also streaming ads for monthly subscribers leaves many users feeling cold, including us. Come on, Hulu, ads or monthly charges? Pick one or the other. The brand new app has ways to go before it can win over the majority of Hulu watchers, but we're glad to finally see Hulu acknowledge its mobile fans. I'm Jessica Dalcourt, and this has been Hulu Plus for the iPhone and iPad.
All I can say is thank goodness for Hulu Plus. I came for the Glee, but I stayed for the Buffy. All 7 seasons. Squeak. Okay, this next video has absolutely nothing to do with movies, neither making them or watching them. I mean, I guess if there were still any drive-in theaters around, you could drive the new Acura TL there, but parking it seems like such a waste.
Acura's TL's a nice enough car, but loaded up with all the electronic and performance options, and it becomes something entirely different, a really desirable car. Let's drive the TL super handling all-wheel drive with the tech package and check that tech. The TL is Acura's best-selling car, if not its prettiest. It's burdened with just about the most extreme execution of Acura's current ungainly corporate face. But luckily, you don't see that end from the driver's seat. Instead, the tack and the tech portray this car's true nature. This, by the way, is the 4th generation of the TL, and its current styling is an interesting combination of the raked knife-like edges of a Cadillac, combined with subtle curves that look like they could have been lifted from infinity.
Now our TL is loaded to the gills. Let's get started. Go to the screen. That's where things begin. This is a car that's got a very bright, high-res display. Makes it really easy to get to things because finally Acura, Honda recently revised their menu system, which was getting really long in the tooth. The geography is about the same, but they finessed it in a lot of different ways, and of course they've done wonders for the resolution and the rendering of the graphics. They use a controller like most car makers, so on this one you've got this rubbery ring you turn that also has a kick function on the crown above it and an enter function on the middle of it. Things move pretty briskly because, like most cars that aren't cheap today, it's hard drive based. You've got multiple ways to view the map, of course, bird's eye and top down and directional stuff. That's all pretty standard. You also have traffic on this car provided by XM Nav Traffic, which also brings in weather, stock quotes, sports scores. Now, the audio system is upgraded as part of this tech package. A lot of things are in this mix, including the ELS surround sound system. That's a Panasonic unit done in conjunction with Elliot Shiner, a legendary recording studio guy. You've got audio disc ability on this guy, but one disc at a time. They compensate for that by giving you the hard drive. The output on this guy is pretty robust. 440 watts, 7.1 surround capable. As you see, DTS, Dolby PL2, all decoders are built into this guy. AM, FM, of course, no HD radio on this guy. XM is your satellite radio and your traffic, stock, sports, and weather. Acura is still drunk on buttons, as you can see. They cram lots of them in here. To kind of make up for that, in my mind, what balances it is that they do use this dual display technology. So you can have your map up on the top there and be enjoying your navigation scenery, and at the same time have a full crisp display of things like time, your media setting, your climate settings. I like when cars do this. Now, as I mentioned, rather a treat in this car is a manual transmission in a vehicle that has a lot of performance. We almost always see automatics or dual clutch gearboxes a lot. Here's our 6-speed manual. It's a pick on this car, by the way, same price as the automatic. Now, I don't know of a car company that does as much of a showcase presentation of their engine. Look at this thing. You got this big plastic skirt all the way around the engine. That's how important it is in this car, because we have a super handling all-wheel drive TL. That's more than just a drivetrain change. On this car, you get bumped up from a 3.5 V6 to a 3.7-liter V6, up from 280 horsepower to 305 horsepower, 273 foot-pounds of torque. Your MPG comes down a notch from 1826 on the Garden Variety TL to 1725 on this guy. Not bad, and 0 to 60 is about a 5.5-second affair. If you watch a lot of our CNET Car Tech videos, you know I'm not one to gush over most cars. I leave that to every other blogger. But I'll tell you what, this car needs some gushing. This is one of the great driving sedans we've ever had in our CNET garage in the last handful of years. The power comes on like that. It never gets breathless, super smooth and silky. Just a great motor. And of course, the super handling all-wheel drive does its thing. Now, I'm not on a track, so I'm really not taxing it. But the car just maintains its bias perfectly. It's pulling and pushing in all the right directions evenly through turns. Just a nice driving experience. And thank you so much, Honda, for this 6-speed manual and a great clutch to go with it. Real linear. And the gearbox, while not the best I've driven, is real good. There's one word I had to apply to this car, it's balance. The power, the suspension, the comfort, the overall usability of the car, the tractability of all the control inputs, everything's balanced and seems to fit as a whole. This guy nails it.
Okay, let's price a 2010 TL. 36 grand out the door base. But that's for a standard TL. That's not what I'm driving. This is a super handling all-wheel drive TL with tech. So the super handling all-wheel drive part, which is both the drivetrain and the 3.7 motor above the 3.5, that's going to add $3,500. Another $3,700 is required for the tech package. Hard drive nav, hard drive media playback, the ELS audio system. So add 8 grand, but you get a sweet package.
Did he just say ESL audio system? That's pretty sweet. Oh, he didn't say that? Okay, well, never mind then. And with that, it's time for a break. We'll be back with more tech review in anywhere from 2 to 30 seconds. Feeling lucky? Welcome back to the CNET Tech Review, your weekly digest of all things good and bad from CNET TV. Now, where were we? Oh yes, it's time for the bad. Touchscreens are all the rage, smartphones, tablets, media players, but somehow it doesn't always translate to PCs quite as well as it should. In some cases, that's because the touchscreen doesn't respond to the touching. Sorry, Gateway.
Hi, I'm Rich Brown, Senior Editor for CNET.com. Today we're going to take a look at the Gateway 1 ZX6900-01E. This is a $999 touchscreen all-in-one. It's available at retail. It's a fixed configuration, so what you see is what you get here pretty much. Now it is actually a touchscreen desktop. There's a little kind of corner up here. You can peel back and you can get the Gateway's touch application interface. It's not really that exciting though. There's some basic apps. There's a little paint app, there's a map application, there's some media browsing tools. Most of them feel a little bit slow though, and the touch response in general is not that great with this PC. But we can show you how unresponsive it is. So here's the corner where you peel it back to get it to the main window screen, and you can see we've got our finger on it, dragging across, nothing is happening. It's either the software or the hardware, but somewhere along the way Gateway needs to do some more work here. That said though, we really like this system, both because of its price and the other features that come with it. So this is a large 23-inch screen that's pretty big for a sub $1,000 all-in-one. It's 1920 by 1080, so that means 1080p resolution, and it also comes with a Blu-ray drive. That makes this a perfect home entertainment system if you want to stick it in an office, a den. There's a 2.93 GHz Core i3 CPU inside. You get 4 gigs of RAM and an integrated Intel graphics chip, so for 3D it's not that great. Otherwise, this is a fairly standard all-in-one. You've got a webcam up here, a few connectivity ports around the sides. There's USB here on the left side. On the right side, you also get an SD card reader, a couple audio jacks, and you can see the Blu-ray slot here. You also get a few more USB ports on back, as well as an Ethernet input, a couple audio jacks. You also get an eSATA jack, which lets you connect faster external hard drives, and there's an HDMI output. Despite a few complaints, this very well may be the best all-in-one under $1,000. The giant screen, the Blu-ray drive, and the fast CPU really make this a very capable desktop. So I'm Rich Brown. This is the Gateway 1 ZX6900-01E.
It's true, it does look like a pretty good little kitchen computer, other than the touchscreen factor. Maybe they should just stop telling people it does that, and then when it works, it'll be like a bonus. Now, I think the best thing about the Gateway is actually the built-in Blu-ray player that lets you watch HD movies on that nice big screen. And if that's important to you, you might just want to buy one, because hooking up your laptop to your regular TV is not as easy as it sounds. Take a look.
Hi, I'm Scott Stein, Senior Associate Editor at CNET.com. And you probably already have a laptop, and in fact, you may already have some TV shows, streaming videos that you want to share, and other great entertainment stuff built into that package. But how do you get it onto your TV? Well, it's pretty easy, in fact, with most laptops nowadays, and we'll show you how. First, wouldn't it be great to connect your laptop wirelessly and not have to connect it at all to the TV and still have it play audio and video? Well, sure, that sounds fantastic. In fact, there are some laptops that already have that technology built in. It's called Intel Wireless Display. There's $99 you have to pay for a little box that plugs into your TV that facilitates the wireless connection. Sometimes it's bundled in with the laptop. And in addition, while it works and shows audio and video, it operates at a bit of a delay, and it will not play DVD or Blu-ray content. It will only play streaming video content. Now, one thing that all these laptops do have increasingly is HDMI, and it's really simple to use. All HD TVs have HDMI, and when you plug it in, it's generally as simple as plugging in the HDMI cable here, plugging into the TV, turning both on, and the image gets carried over onto this TV. Now, certain laptops are not automatically set up to activate that connection to the TV. You have to turn off mirroring, which is in your control panel settings. And once you do that, you select the display, which is your HD TV. It'll be labeled by your manufacturer name, like Samsung, so you'll know that that's the display. And then you'll be able to pull down the settings and select 1920 by 1080, your full resolution, provided it is 1080p. What's great is that audio gets seamlessly transferred over to the TV. Another way to connect to a TV that every single laptop has is VGA. Now, not every single television has a VGA port, but there are a lot of HD TVs that do. If you connect VGA to VGA, you'll get the video signal, but you won't get the audio. So what you're going to have to do is connect through your headphone jack, which will transmit the audio out. You can connect it through a splitter, which you can pick up at Radio Shack, or you can actually hook it up to speakers if you don't want to hook it up directly to the TV. for MacBooks. MacBooks and all Apple laptops do not have HDMI, and that's often complained about for Apple users. The good news is that mini DisplayPort, while it is not a direct connection, can work exactly like HDMI with the purchase of one little accessory. A Griffin mini DisplayPort to HDMI connector. This costs about 30 to 40 bucks. When you plug it into the mini DisplayPort on all current MacBook and MacBook Pro models, it will not only transmit the video, but audio. And we tested it out here. It works great. It even works in a 5.1 surround. Of course, there are a lot of other solutions too, including how do you get real audiophile surround sound hooked up to your true receiver? How do you take advantage of certain refresh rates? That's more complicated stuff. Maybe we'll cover it in a future edition. But for now, that's how you hook up your laptop to your TV, depending on which one you have. Hopefully it's simple and easy enough to understand. I'm Scott Stein with CNET.com.
So I guess if you want to connect your MacBook to your TV, there's an adapter for that. Ha ha ha. I'll be here all week. All right, let's just move on to this week's bottom line. San Francisco just passed this new law requiring cell phone retailers to display how much radiation each phone gives off. Well, the 5 phones in this week's top 5 will probably be flagged with flashing lights and a siren.
So, you want to buy a really hot smartphone? These will fit the description both ways. They're desirable and they spew radiation. I'm Brian Cooley with the CNET Top 5. This time we're ranking smartphones based on their SAR, or specific absorption rate, which tells you the watts of power absorbed per kilogram of tissue. Ugh. Now, there's never been a clear connection made between a phone's SAR rating and dying. But for me, I'm going to play it safe and look for a low number until they figure this out. Anyway, here are the high numbers. Number 5 is the T-Mobile 3G with a SAR of 1.47, not too far from the US government limit of 1.6. Nice keyboard, slick design, GPS, 2-megapixel camera, and it's not on AT&T, so it's got that going for it. Number 4 is the Palm Pixie Plus, also at a toasty 1.47 SAR, one of the sleekest smartphone designs ever, and it runs the much-loved Palm Web OS. But HP just bought Palm, and their CEO Mark Hurd recently made it clear they didn't do it to be in the phone business. So this might not be a great pick unless you like buying your phones on eBay. Number 3 is the Motorola Droid at a SAR rating of 1.49. No phone has done so much to propel the Android operating system as this squared-off little bacon fryer. Great touchscreen, power to really run Android well, and it has access to the only collection of apps that ever causes Apple to lose at least a little bit of sleep. Just bring a foil hat. Number 2 is the BlackBerry Bold 9000 with a SAR rating of 1.51. This guy revolutionized BlackBerry display and interface quality, supports fast HSDPA data connections, just not for me, and was the first BlackBerry that could at least pronounce multimedia. The latest version, the 9700, loses the annoying little pearl ball that always seems to get food stuck in it, which is kind of handy because you can cook it by just making a call. Before we get to the number 1 dirtiest smartphone, what about the iPhone? Well, the SAR on that model varies by which iPhone you have. The 3G is the dirtiest at 1.38. The very first iPhone, the original, much cleaner at 0.97. And the 3GS is the best at 0.78. Steve wants you around to buy more apps. At number 1 is another BlackBerry, the ubiquitous Curve 8330, with a SAR rating of 1.54, hard up against the limit. Guys, don't lay this one in your lap if you like getting Father's Day cards. Curves are everywhere because they're on multiple carriers, and there's always a pricing promotion that pretty much makes them free. This little pocket Chernobyl is arguably the most successful smartphone ever because it has so many variants. Everyone loves the keyboard, and let's face it, your company will probably make you carry one at some point, but it's a crappy web device and not a good choice unless you like your bacon crisp. That's it for this edition of CNET Top 5. Use a headset. I'm Brian Cooley. See you next time.
The bottom line this week, Brian just said it. Use a headset. Or maybe speakerphone because dorky. All right, the good news is that all you iPhone users still have a pretty good shot at procreation, thus ensuring future generations of Apple fanboys. And that's our show for this week, everyone. Tune in next week for an all-new look at the tech week that was. Until then, you can always find more great CNET video at cnettv.com. See you next time, and thank you for watching.